Have you ever had a mentor in your life that taught you a life lesson and you didn't even realize it until it was much later in your life? Close your eyes and think about that for a moment. That person, for me, was Master Sergeant Matt Pollock. I have the honor to share my story about him and his influence tonight. Master Sergeant Pollock was an energetic non-commissioned officer in the Air Force Security Police. He drank so much coffee that you would think that he was drinking it directly from the pot. I got the opportunity to work for Master Sergeant Pollock at Carswell Air Force Base in Fort Worth, Texas. It was in the early 90s, and we were stationed at the 7th Security Police Squadron. Master Sergeant Pollock was very active with the Air Force Sergeants Association, a professional military association that lobbied on Capitol Hill for Air Force enlisted benefits. He took me to a local chapter meeting. Now, AFSA had recently created a new leadership position in the chapters called Airman Activities Coordinator. Since I was the only airman that ever attended a chapter meeting, I immediately got the job. They didn't have a clue what I was supposed to do, and neither did I. So that first year, well, I pretty much failed to do anything. But you know what? They didn't care. They were just happy that they had an airman to fill the position and come to their meetings. Master Sergeant Pollock lit a volunteering fire in me. Over the last 30 years, I volunteered with over 24 organizations. I almost always step into a leadership role. In AFSA, I stayed active my entire military career and eventually worked as a leader at International. Today, I'm a life member with AFSA, and I still assist division presidents once in a while. But what does that have to do with growing professionally? Here are a few things I learned by being a volunteer leader. Volunteering, giving back to a greater purpose, can be very rewarding. Abraham Maslow called this self-actualization. Self-actualization is a realization of one's talents and effort in the culmination of something incredibly meaningful. I found self-actualization many times over the last 30 years. Have you ever heard of the term fail forward? The term means to be okay with failure as long as you're learning something from it. You're moving forward. Well, volunteering is a perfect learning opportunity for growth. People fail all the time in volunteer positions, but you know what? It's okay. Most volunteer organizations are just happy that you tried. It's on you to learn from the failure. You wouldn't find a paying job so forgiving regarding failure. And lastly, volunteering affords you opportunities to fill roles that would take years to reach in a corporate world. In AFSA, I once led the largest division in the association. We had over 18,000 members in that division. I guided 23 chapters spread across 4 states, and I had a direct leadership team of 20 people. By professional standards, that's considered a large business. I was doing this while still a junior non-commissioned officer in the Air Force. Do you think I was learning way more about leadership in AFSA than I was in the military? Of course I was. I always tell people, if you want to really learn about leadership, try leading volunteers. They don't get paid, and they can walk away from you at any time they want. It has been many years later, after Master Sergeant Pollock took me to that first AFSA meeting, that I started to realize what he might have done. Perhaps he saw something in me that he knew he could cultivate. Maybe he had a grand plan, maybe not. But the life lesson I share with you today is this. If you want to grow professionally, you need to get involved with volunteer organizations and make an effort to step up. The benefits will be something you look back on in the future with wonder.